first. No, like from
No,
the
4
time,
working days. I'm counting
from the
4
time
days.
I'm talking about from the time I started my TV gig.
Uh-huh.
I've never come with a phone that was not on silent and it just rang.
That's what I'm saying. You've only been away a couple of days,
And I've forgotten
here
the
you are.
rules.
Here you are. Anyway,
Can I put it on silent though? Because
do it.
it's
Do
most
it
likely
now.
gonna ring again.
Do it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the whole world to see. Oh, shit.
For the whole world to see. I mean,
Chef.
4 weeks is a long. 4 days is a long time. The last time I was here.
I wonder what you were doing.
The
on
last
those 4
time
days.
I was here was on Thursday last week. So it's literally been a week since I not the last time I was here. The last time I was ever on TV was last week on Thursday.
So that's Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Today being 4 days. I was correct.
I'm
4
usually
working
on
days.
TV over the weekend.
On what?
On Sunday.
Oh, for the news.
No.
Not the news? What is it?
But anyway, thank you for joining us on tonight's edition of Diamond Live. There's so much lined up for you on this show tonight. We're going to be talking political violence, and later on, we are also going to be talking youth empowerment. So we want you to be a part of the conversation. Just be a part of this conversation. Talk to us about all these things that we'll be talking about tonight. We're joined by Galomo Member of Parliament, Honorable Harry Gamboni. Chendela Makondo is also joining us from the Patriotic Front later on to talk empowerment. So all these things are here for you to be a part of. But you know how we start Diamond Live, reviewing some of the day's interesting items. And this is Today in a Snap. Alright, so today one of the major events of the day was this story, and you just watched it in the Diamond News Desk at 8. It's involving Minister of Health, Dr. Chitalu Chilufya, who appeared today before court. Unfortunately, could not take plea because there was some concerns over security at the magistrate court today, because there was a lot of supporters that showed up, and it turns out a lot of them wanted to be part of the court proceedings, and we're literally trying to get inside, and so the court thought it wise to adjourn this court session to the 16th of July, which is in the next couple of days. Well, not couple, but in the next few days. And so he's expected to take plea then. But it was marked with a lot of event, this court session today.
So then what is the plan for the next, for the next proceedings? Are they going to ensure that security is there so that there will be no interruptions? I think it's pretty sad that that is what happened today. I mean, just let the man face his crimes, and also
Alleged crimes.
Well, his alleged crimes, and also I think for the health minister, I don't know why he insists on people wearing masks, but he never wears it correctly. In all the pictures I've seen, he's not wearing the mask properly. His fellow party mates as well and supporters are not wearing masks properly. So it's just chaos in a time of COVID. I mean, really, is this what we're going to be doing?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I should say this, but it's pretty evident when he's doing his briefings that he seems to have a pre-existing condition that doesn't make him breathe properly, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why the mask is usually, I've noticed it's usually just above the mouth. I guess it's to prevent the particles when he is talking to go to the next person. But I think for me, well, what happened also, just I don't know, it was a slack on the side of the police. That's my thinking, because there's a lot of times when different politicians will appear before court, and there's usually
heavy security, well organized.
It's
security
or I don't know, did they underestimate the health minister's support? Because if they did, I think that was a pretty wrong thing to do, because you're talking about a minister of health from the ruling party, with the constituency as a member of parliament. So they should have kind of anticipated that there was going to be a lot of people. Plus, not only that, precedents also indicates that a lot of times when a politician is going to go to court or anything, a lot of times there's huge numbers of people that go there. Some have banners. I remember from Honorable Ronald Chitola last time, the difference is there was no COVID-19 this time, so there was no need to disperse the people or not to allow them to enter the court, because the court is also following COVID-19 guidelines. So they should have anticipated that. And the same way that they usually provide security for other similar events, I think they should, I don't know.
Maybe there was just more people than security detail.
Well,
Maybe
I can confirm
more.
that there wasn't that many police officers, because I was there.
You did a drive-by.
Yeah.
Then it is what it is. Hey?
So to be honest, this is on them as the police. So because they trust me, I have a suspicion that on the 16th of July there's going to be
even more people. Stay home.
And there's going to be a lot of police presence.
Stay home. Watch the updates from home. There's COVID-19. It's still on the rise. Come on, don't risk your life to see Chilufya stand before court. Is it worth your life, really?
Darius could not go in. I also just turned back because it was a huge crowd.
It must be scary. Like, crowds are scary. You know, a swarm of people is a very scary thing to
especially
deal
if
with.
you've got a job like ours. But anyway, the Lusaka mayor, though he's not doing any media rounds, he hates the media now. But he loves Diamond TV. He said that.
He loves Diamond.
But he's not giving us interviews just like everybody else.
Because of a certain
because of the
newspaper.
media house. But he posted this on his Facebook page. I don't know. He's doing.
Okay, he couldn't remove the Oscars bit. I don't know, and they couldn't. They edit. I don't know. Create their own.
Like the Sampas, you know. I think the Sampas or whatever it is.
So just like
the DIYs. It just look like the Oscars. You know what? It's a bit of a too much of an immediate thing, because just yesterday the president's page was plagiarizing somebody else's work, and today the mayor is plagiarizing
the Oscars.
Ish. I was just like, you know what? Okay, the Oscars.
Even when I said it, I was just like, I was want to give him a call, like, dude, your worship, really? Couldn't you have come up with a different name, or have people vote for a name? Or if you're petitioning for this to be an annual thing under the mayor's title, that even maybe the next incoming mayor could also take it up, then why not give it a neutral name?
But he's giving out a lot of awards.
I wonder how it's going to be sponsored.
The list is quite long,
Yeah.
but I love it. I think it's a great idea. It's a great idea, and you know, the mayor is a very generous person. I think we've pretty much seen it. He likes giving whatever he's gonna give, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
He usually just does some giving. Somehow.
He's got a big heart.
Yeah, he does.
He's a big sweetheart of a mayor.
Congratulations to this mother of four quadruplets.
Hush!
She had 3 children.
Yeah, she's already
and
got 3.
She's now got 7 children, just like that.
7
Just
aside. I
like
saw a joke about a 7
that.
aside squad.
Eesh.
But yeah, just like that. 7 kids, 4 new babies. Wow.
Imagine the guy that was last born when there were just 2 of them. He's now very far from the lineage. But interesting factoid. I don't mind that, but not like on the 4th child. Like on the first one. If the first one, we got 4 kids. That's it.
For me,
Because
I think
honestly
I
want
was
to have
more
children. Like they should be following each other.
Like steps.
Yes, they should have only 1 year in between. If
Are
they,
you the one who's popping them? Calm down.
at least it's got to be an agreement.
Well, if she agrees,
Just
she
1 year in
agrees.
between. Because they've got to grow up together.
You're breastfeeding and here you're growing.
Yes.
But I think for me,
Neither is it you.
the shock, Jonah, don't you want to utilize my womb? I'm joking, but no. for me, what my concern was when I saw the story was, imagine if they were having twins. If they were having twins, or they expected that there would be twins, and then boom, 2 new babies land out. So I was just like, ish. Or maybe they thought there would be triplets, and then, you know, one also came out. And it happens, though. It does happen where people, you know, the mistake happens where they see maybe 2 and then 3 come out, or they see 3 and then 4 come out. So she'll need a lot of help.
I don't know what else to say. I'm thrown off balance. But Studio Ken was with Mtale Mwanza. They had a brief interview. And Studio Ken does air on Diamond TV on Wednesdays. So you should look forward to this episode. It's going to be coming soon.
To swim, am I going to swim in the bubu?
Some of your attackers actually accuse you of sleeping around or being a prostitute. Are you?
That's very insulting. I'm not. And I'm actually shocked that you're in my house and you're asking me such.
No, I'm here asking
but
questions.
I should be offended because, Kennedy, I've also seen some of your interviews. You've interviewed Miles before. You've interviewed Pilato before. I've never heard you ask them any of those questions. So why are you asking me that?
You are not interviewing me. I'm here to interview you. If you could just give me the opportunity to do the interview, that would be better. We're not quarreling, Mtale. And as a journalist, you must know that better.
But don't ask me insulting questions in my own house.
Okay, tell me.
Because I will kick you out.
I don't know what to say about that, because I know how that ended. So I kind of have everything in context. So I don't want to comment on it, because I think the idea is for people to watch it and get the end of it on their own. But I know how it ended, and I've seen it, and I think...
So were they acting?
No, there's only one way to find out, and that's to watch. But they were not acting, for sure. I can confirm that they were not acting. So do watch it. It's going to be on Studio Ken's YouTube channel, but also on Diamond TV. So look forward to that. Let's get straight into our discussions, and we're going to be joined after this break by Honorable Harry Gamboni, and we're talking political violence, because it's coming from Kalomo, and, well, there's been a lot of talk about the 2021 general elections and this period at the moment that seems to be a build-up to it. No elections whatsoever at the moment, but there seems to be some tension between these two political parties, as always has been.
Now what you wanna come find here, I beg?
What's happening?
A lot. Get a world of entertainment on your phone with Airtel TV. Enjoy the best in Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood, music and more. Download the app for free with no subscription fees.
What? Kitchen! Do it!
Just one drop of Boom Sparkle Plus with Triple Power formula takes care of everything. One bottle of Boom Sparkle Plus will shine 1,000 dishes. Enriched with lemon and aloe vera. Now that's 1,000 reasons to choose Boom Sparkle Plus. Trade Kings, improving lives.
With DSTV Now, you open up a world of possibility where your entertainment is ready for you anytime and anywhere. To get connected, ask your parents to go to the App Store, hit download and log in.
Incredible. Incredible.
And while they're there, with DSTV's parental control feature, setting you up for the most fun and safest viewing around is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Amazing entertainment and learning, anywhere with DS.
Hey, can you give me one
Hey,
packet of Maximum
excuse
Classic
me.
condoms?
Can I please get a packet of Maximum Classic condoms? Don't be shy. It's triple tested, trusted protection.
Hey, I'll get 2 packets of Maximum Classic condoms, please, right now.
Condoms protect you from STIs, HIV, and prevent unplanned pregnancies. Use condoms correctly and consistently for dual protection. Maximum Condom, trusted protection, is triple tested.
Brought to you by the USA Discover Health Project with support from the American people through the United States President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR.
Welcome back to Diamond Live. The last election that we had in 2016 had a lot of issues arising, and one of the issues that was being discussed is that of political violence. The intention is to have all political violence incidents reduced, and that is to make sure that no one is hurt because of an election. Now, the 2 major stakeholders of this, as has been evidenced, is the United Party for National Development and the Patriotic Front, as these are the largest political parties that we have in the country and have been the 2 political parties most involved in incidents of political violence. And we're joined by Kalomo Central Member of Parliament, Honorable Harry Kamboni, who is going to help us look at solutions on how we can end political violence and look at incidences that could have been avoided and how we make sure that that is done. Good evening, Honorable. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, and good evening, listeners.
Viewers and listeners, I guess.
Yes, yeah, both.
First of all, let's start off with the current landscape that we do have as a country, the precedent that has been set previously in different elections. Do you think it is possible for us to have an election that is free of violence?
Well, you see,
next year, to be specific.
Yes, I'm very grateful that you have asked that question. Quite often, people think that an election should be judged on the day when people are voting, which is not the case. An election is supposed to be judged from the beginning, voter registration, NRCs, all that happens up to the day of voting. That's what will determine on whether an election is free and fair. And so when you're talking of elections, the other issue that you should ask is, who are the stakeholders? Now, the major stakeholders or players are 1, the police, we have the political parties, we have ECZ, and of course the electorates, and once in a while, also the courts come into play. So all these must play their role to make sure that everything is fair, free and fair. Now, coming to your question, we can't say the landscape is fair already. We have had cases where the Minister of Home Affairs has been limiting the number of people to get NRCs. I want to speak on behalf of my constituents. When the COVID started, in Kalomo, Central voter registration, NRC taking was stopped.
But that's got nothing to do with political
No, it was. In other areas, no, I'm talking of fairness now. It's the unfairness that brings in violence. If things are fair, you won't have violence. If there is law and order, you won't have violence. So people resort to violence because of the unfairness. Okay, and unless when it's done by the ruling party, yes.
That's very unfair, Honorable. You're justifying violence from your political party and shifting the blame when it's
our political party is not. We haven't come to that. I'm saying what causes uneasiness. My political party is not violent, completely. Not at all.
I'm sure other people would see that differently.
We'll come to that. We want specific. No.
I'll give you specific examples, Honorable. I'll give you specific examples, but I'd like you to finish.
Yes, let me answer the question. Yes. Your question I've asked is the playing field leveled?
No. Is it possible to have a peaceful election next year? That's the question.
That has to do with how the landscape is. That's what I'm trying to say. How the major players are also playing currently. So if they're not playing very well, you can't have a peaceful election. When you have the police promoting violence, look at what happened in Sesheke. Look at what happened in Kaoma. I was there when Lawrence Banda was shot on a Sunday. 9 hours. People are going to church. I was coming from church. I had supper with Lawrence Banda, who they called Gaddafi, and was shot in the morning. The person who shot, they know him. Before that, there were cases where there was violence perpetrated by the PF. And one guy was found with pistols on top of the dashboard. Listen, the officer in charge was there. The campaign manager, Honorable Stwala, was there and told him, can you take action? The officer in charge did not take action. Next, Lawrence Banda was shot and was flown by a plane from Kaoma to Lusaka. Up to now, no killer. The killer has not been taken to book. Instead, now,
don't you think this is where the problem starts? Where political parties do not want to own up to their part of the political violence that is created. Because you come from Kalomo Central constituency. You say you were there in Sesheke. Were you there?
In Kaoma, I'm talking of Kaoma.
Yes. Were you there in Kalomo, in your constituency in 2016 when Alan Siabusiso as well as Ruben Msumuko, the two that were arrested in 2016 because of the political violence that they created when President Edgar Lungu was there in your constituency in 2016. Why don't you own up to these things?
Which violence was there?
The political violence.
You see. This is where, Joanna, you have an obligation to ask.
With facts
that no. You have an obligation.
This is a matter that
no. You see. Ask me what happened. Ask me.
So you were there?
Well, I live in Kalomo.
So you don't think that those incidents of political violence must
I don't even know. Those names you mentioned. Those names I mentioned, I don't even know them.
That's why I'm telling them to you, because I know them.
I'm saying, in Kalomo, those two names you're talking about were never arrested over that. That's not correct.
They were arrested.
No. I'm aware of a few youths they called to the police.
Honorable. Yeah, those two names I'm mentioning to you were remanded. They were set in court. One of the nights that they were in the prison, one of the nights that they were in remand, members of the United Party for National Development went to the prison
can you go back
and wanted to see those beyond visiting
if
hours.
I prove,
so I'm confirming to you.
No. I'm saying if I prove to you,
I've proven. To
no. That's not a proof. I think you must also recall. This is what happened. Those names are mentioned were never arrested. And we don't know them. No, we don't know them in Kaloma. I know the youths that are there in Kaloma. So we don't know them. That's not true. This is what happened. Edgar Lungu, president of Zambia, came. And the time was around 16 hours. I was coming from Chibomboma myself. There was no violence, as you are saying. What happened was, as he was coming to the council, let me explain what happened. Kids were simply showing hands forward. He passed through the National Assembly office, and all the kids and other people are simply showing the UPND sign. And the kids there who have grown up, they already know very few presidential candidates go there, very few. So the only sign they know in politics is the hand. And they thought, oh, he's UPND. So they were showing grade 4s, primary school kids. Then he went to Village Green, near Green Basic School, where he had a rally. Again, when he left, people were showing the UPND sign. Then off from there, he went to go and check the hospital. Again, people who were along Mawaya compound were showing the UPND sign. There was nobody who was stoned. There was no violence as per se. And no one has been arrested over that. It's the same thing that happened in Monze. You see, booing is different from picking stones and throwing. You must differentiate that. It's one way of communication, just booing. And in Kalomo, no one up to now was jailed over that. No one. And those names I mentioned are not there.
Those
I was
people-
No, I was district chairman by then. How can I not know?
Those two people were arrested, but I think that's besides the point, Honorable. I feel the bigger issue is what responsibilities political parties must take upon themselves.
Yeah,
because dealing with an issue such as political violence should begin within yourselves. But it seems the trend by different political parties has been to shift the blame both from the United Party for National Development
that's
and the Patriotic Front,
where the
because
problem.
none of you own up to
That's where the
to
problem
your
comes
issues.
in. Because you see, in your analysis as a journalist, you should be able to get the truth. I have mentioned here Lawrence Banda was shot. A Zambian, like you, like me, like her, was shot. And the person who shot him is known. What has happened? Nothing. And then, to my surprise, you're not concerned about that.
No, that's not fair.
No. This is.
I think that's not fair.
I'm saying that's the starting point. We had Mapens Chibulo, who was shot. What happened? Look at what happened in Sasheke. Look at what happened in Sasheke. Look at what happened when we were burying a UPND girl at Memorial Park. When the late member of Parliament for Kaputa was beaten by cadres.
But we also have to hold the UPND accountable for their own acts of violence.
Which act of violence?
The ones that I have mentioned.
No,
the ones
in
you've
Kaloma
denied.
there was nothing.
The ones
it's
you've
not about denying. And this is why you get it wrong. You listen to the propaganda that is being said without facts. I have clear so even the names I mentioned don't exist in Kaloma. You are insisting. I was district chairman. Huh? There were only 4 kids which they wanted to take.
Honorable, my sister stays in Kaloma.
Yes.
I doubt you know her name.
Pardon? I'm
My
talking of
sister stays-
UPND cadres. I was district chairman by then for UPND. I'm not talking at everybody else.
So then, Honorable, I'd like to know then from you, moving forward, away from, the different political violences that we have seen, what now should be done to ensure that this does come to an end? Because if we're going to have political parties also that cannot admit or take up responsibility, then what next?
Yeah, but you see, which admittance are you talking about here?
No, what I'm just referring to is whether something does occur, regardless of where it is, you also need to take up responsibility as the UPND. Maybe the PF also needs
Have
to
the
take up
UPND killed anybody?
responsibility as
I'm asking you a
the
question.
PF.
Have the UPND
So
killed anybody?
will you begin to take up that responsibility to say, look, these violent acts are being taken forward. What then now can we do to ensure it
Did
doesn't
you see
happen?
the bullets that were being shot at in Seshek, at HH? Did you see what was happening? Using machine guns.
Are you
The
of the
tear gas
opinion,
that was
Honorable,
being done.
that, are you of the opinion that the United Party for National Development does not participate in political violence in this country?
I have a
You'll
right to
never
defend
participate.
myself.
Do
If I'm attacked, that's different. If I'm attacked, I have a right to defend myself.
Do you think political violence is allowed from the end of the United Party for National Development?
This violence that we have in this country is perpetuated, started by PF. Look at the Chilanga by-election we had. Huh? Clearly, I was almost killed myself. As you go Westwood Police Station, I was manning the Chinyanja polling station. 2 buses came loaded with PF cadres. Meanwhile, I was not checking on WhatsApp. People were already being beaten in Chilanga. And Honorable Machila was there.
Sorry, Honorable, I believe we do have a call.
Yes.
Good evening.
Hi, Moshe, how are you doing? Good evening, Moshe, how are you?
Hello?
Good evening, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Hello?
We can hear you loud and clear, Moshe. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, I wanted to contribute on the same topic which is there.
Please.
I have a concern with how, the journalists that are conducting themselves. Look at this. How can you blame the opposition for the violence that exists in the country when it is the responsibility of the government to take care of each and everyone in the country? Can you say that looking at the affairs, the way the affairs are in the country, can you tell us that the opposition has got a muscle to overpower even the cadres that are from the ruling party? Is it fair like that?
Well, I think
I doubt the quality of journalism that these guys have, because analyzing, in terms of analyzing, they're quite poor, in the sense that it is better. The ones that can control, the government is the one which can control. The ruling party is the one who can control the violence which is existing in the country, because they have the police on their side.
Can you
but
hear
the
me?
opposition don't have that.
Can you hear me?
So I don't think the kind of journalism which is there is proper. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Moshe, for calling to insult us.
So let's come now. Let's come to the real issue here. I have said the stakeholders. We have political parties. We have the police. Can we now look at what? The police.
But we're going to get there. We're going to get to that, Honorable. But for you, are you moving yourselves out of the equation as political parties from the era of political violence? Because this is existing because of your members.
That's not true.
Because
that's what you were just saying.
But political violence can only happen between two people.
They are victims, yes. Even when there's domestic violence, there's a victim and there's a causer. And we are the victims. And why are we victims? Because we take part in the elections, in the by-elections.
That's not one of the opinions that your counterparts from the Patriotic Front have. They also have.
What do you know yourself? What do you
also
know?
have the belief.
What is the truth?
They have. The
we are talking about the truth.
They have the belief that you, as members of the UPND, are equally violent. The same incident that you give as an example from Chilanga, Honorable Jean Kapata was vehemently claiming that the United Party for National Development.
And you believe what Jean Kapata says?
But why should we then believe you? Why should we then believe you?
You should be able to see what happens. And I'm shocked. You don't see. You can't read in it. That's why he was saying, as journalists, you should be able to come up with the truth. If you can't, then how?
I don't think the interview should be about you attacking us. It should be about answering the questions, Honorable.
I'm saying you are making...
able to answer the questions, if you are able to answer the questions, then...
I've given you very good examples here. I've said Lawrence was shot. We have Mapens Chibulo, shot. We have that gentleman from Tendere who was also shot. A number of them that have become casualties of the PF violence. Some shot by the police when there was a riot in Kalombo. I mean, when there was gassing in Kalombo. One of my members in the constituency was shot. The police did not follow procedure. Reported. No, listen. That's violence. Listen here. And you should be concerned as a Zambian. One day you'll be the same victim. And then what happened? Even the journalists have been victims of this. Have been a victim of the PF violence.
But there's also been allegations that, it is members of the UPND.
Give specific examples. Which
as PF cadres and are the ones inciting
give a specific example. Give a specific example.
No, I'm asking you.
Do you then believe that a political violence-free election is possible next year, based on the belief that, according to you, the UPND does not perpetrate violence, the UPND is not in political violence?
Oh my God. I have said, already we have in Ruapula, there's mobile, they are taking NRCs using mobile. It's not happening anywhere else. They are getting NRCs in other areas, it's being stopped. There is already unfairness. That is already rigging. The PF have come with another scheme. They want prisoners to vote. That is a rigging scheme. When the opposition members will not be allowed to go and campaign in prisons. When the EU was here in 2016, EU observing, they said, one, the police were not doing their job properly. One, there were prolonged detentions. One good example is Mariteta. He was in prison for 9 months. And what happened thereafter? What was he arrested for? Police get instructions from the politicians. They are not impartial in their dealings. So how can you have a free and fair election when it's like that?
Don't just to take you back, sorry, on the prisoners. Don't you think prisoners also have the right to cast their votes as they are citizens of this country?
Which rights are you talking about that a prisoner has? Is a prisoner free to move? Answer my question. When you are in prison, what rights do you have?
But I think that's besides the point, to be honest. What I'm trying to find out from you, and I don't know if you'll be able to answer this question, do you think it is possible to have a violence-free election next year? Is this possible?
This is what you need if it was to be possible. 1, the police must be impartial. No receiving instructions from the government, from the PF. Not whereby somebody is killed because who pays the police? It's taxpayers' money. It's not money from PF alone. No, it's taxpayers' money. Every Zambian. And they are there to protect the law. That's the job of the police, to protect every citizen. But when you go to the police, if you are not PF in politics, you're not listened to. If you are being attacked, the worst place you should go is the police. The police will tell you, no, they can not do anything once the PF are involved. We have had people who have been detained for so many days without trial and is necessarily without proper investigations or because they belong to a certain political party. One example is my president. Hakainde was in prison for 127 days. For doing what? And what did they do? They gave a notice. The case did not warrant to happen to that level. Many of our members have been put in prison. So the police are not doing their job properly. You go to report, they don't do anything. And the EU put it very clearly that the police are impartial. I'm not impartial. They are getting instructions from PF. If they get any instruction, Bwana, you're not going to be attended to. Let's
also listen to somebody who's calling in from Ndola. Hi, good evening. How are you?
Hello?
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Hello, good evening.
Can you hear us?
Yes, Mulonda, please go ahead with your contribution.
I can hardly hear you, but can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Mulonda. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, thank you. I think, just over to answer the question, yes, it is possible to have peaceful, only if the administration becomes serious. If there is a political will from PF leadership to control this violence by either opposition or the ruling party itself, it's entirely up to the administration which can do that, which can control that. Then, secondly, can you list the entire violent activities that have been taking place, especially during elections, and apportion them to the parties that have been doing those elections? All those which the Honorable is mentioning and all those which you are mentioning, tabulate them, list them, see who is causing or who is to blame on violence, political violence. Mainly, it will be found that most of those violent activities are done by PF.
Mlonda, Mr. Mlonda, I don't know if it's possible for you to hear us. I don't think
allows it. If it was the UPND or any other opposition party, these people have not be left to go scot-free. They would be influenced by now. So, gentlemen, for you in journalism, for you should be able to tell which part, not just believe because this other propaganda from the PF says
that's why the Honorable is here to respond to those questions and give justification to them. But then, I don't know if you're able to hear me because I'd like to ask you a question. Are you able to get... Goodness, I don't know if we'll be able to communicate with the callers, but it would be very interesting to also get your thoughts on some of the questions that we've got for you.
Let's look at the ECZ. It's another major stakeholders. Issa Uchulu read wrong results and is still being kept. The workers at ECZ are appointed by the president. In Mwomba's commission submission from the people, the Zambians said they needed civil society, the church and other people to be the ones running the election. You cannot be playing football, you're Barcelona, and then you are also choosing the referees. And so when you look at the ECZ here, the playing ground is never fair. We had elections in 2016 where there was no Gen 12, but the results were recorded and announced.
Do you think that these incidents or situations could be sorted out without the prevalence of violence?
I'm saying, look, you're looking at violence. This is also psychological violence. You have the ECZ now refusing to sponsor other political parties to go and observe the making of ballot papers.
Let me finish. Yes, but the question that I'm asking is, don't you think that these issues you're raising can be sorted out without physical violence?
How do you sort them out? I'm not talking about video violence. I'm not talking about physical violence here. I'm talking of the unfairness of how the elections are supposed to be conducted. The fairness is supposed to be fair. Now, if we are to have fair elections, these are the things that we're supposed to listen to. One, let me go to ECZ. ECZ, what we're supposed to do is as follows. One, the people who are working at ECZ should be chosen by all stakeholders, not one individual who is also taking part in an election. That's not fair. Problem number one. Two, the rules must be followed. For instance, Gen 12 is a certificate. Even if you did your degree, if you don't have a certificate to show, we have no proof. How could the results be announced and ECZ allowed when there were no Gen 12s? Two, people like Chulu, who mentioned wrong results, and the clip is there, I have that clip, should have not continued, should have resigned, and he should resign. On moral grounds.
You also recognize the fact that these concerns that you raise, very interesting concerns that you raise, these are concerns that you would raise in the midst of fellow members of parliament, and these members of parliament are from the Patriotic Front, but under no circumstance will you start fighting with your fellow members of parliament.
I'm saying, look,
regardless of whatever political opinions you hold, you would disagree your political opinions, you will have different views on governance, but you never start fighting in parliament. You won't fight even if you were to meet with members of parliament from the Patriotic Front here. You are not going to start fighting. They will not start beating you up. You won't start beating them up. Then the question being, as leaders of these people, don't you think you must also take responsibility within yourselves to see to it that political violence comes to an end, as opposed to finding who to apportion the blame to before you find the solutions? Because you are not. We are going to have this interview here. We're not going to fight.
You didn't listen to the first caller here. I have a problem when you fail to see the truth. I have a problem. If two people fight, if you start a fight here or somebody else starts a fight, and I see beats another person, who is violent there? The person who was beating the other person. You know? But you are failing to see. So the questions that you are asking me are very biased. They are not correct. I've told you incidences. Can you mention incidences clearly here where you are saying UPND is violent? UPND is not violent. Who are violent people? The PF. They go to the bus terminus. We were in hotel, Pamoza Hotel. Is it hotel when there was Prime TV there, listening to the submissions of Butane? What happened there? What happened? We had cadres coming in there, and all that you are saying. We had cadres coming in sponsored by PF. Huh? So you are here defending what PF is doing. We are victims of the violence. I am saying, look here.
I'm not defending anyone. I'm asking you because I want you also,
you have
as
asked
a political party, to deal with political violence.
We are not violent ourselves. You have failed to bring up specific examples.
I have given you examples.
Which example?
Which examples that you've denied?
Which one?
Your constituency.
No. Nikalomo, there was no. That's not true. That's not true. I get offended when you fail to see the truth. And I think if we are going to continue, let's stick to the truth.
And that's exactly what we're doing.
I was there, and I've told you there was no violence. If there was violence, who was arrested? You think the PF can leave somebody? Violence done to a president is not arrested. Who is in jail? Who is in jail for that?
I've literally just told you.
No, I'm asking you, who is in jail? Mention. There's nobody who was arrested. Which Ruben? There's no Ruben. You see? Let's not say that is a lie you are talking about. Because I will go back, we can go back to Kalomo and investigate that we are not right, we are not correct. That case, everything I followed up to the end. I was district chairman of UPND. And you are saying something that's not true, and you are continuing. That's not right. That's not right. Kalama people are also listening now. If you don't know, then it's better you listen. So this is what I'm trying to say. I'm saying here, I'm still talking of ECZ. Who gave the ECZ the powers to give only 30 days for voter registration? Who? Who gave them those powers? They are supposed to sit with all stakeholders. Voter registration is only 30 days. You are not concerned. I've talked about a mobile NRC taking happening in Wapula everywhere. Other areas, they are stopped.
But, Honorable, you can't say I'm not concerned. That's not true. Because the reason why we invited you, we wanted to discuss political violence. That's why I keep asking questions about political violence. I'm not going to ask about the voter registration because even in our invitation, that was not what we're going to talk about. What we're trying to find as solutions with regards to political violence.
Yes.
Those are the questions.
I'm
not going to ask about the voter registration. And that doesn't mean I'm not concerned. That's not fair for you to say.
No, it's from the way you are paraphrasing your question. Now, let's come to what should happen if we're not to have a violence. One, the police must be impartial. Take both citizens, both groups, all the groups fairly. If there is law and order, there will be order. Two, the PF must stop the unfairness. It must stop. ECZ also must punish culprits. ECZ has got a right to disqualify people who misbehave during elections, but they don't do that when PF is doing so. It is favored. Everywhere PF is favored. The people who are put there at ECZ, they are all put by PF. That is wrong. Those people must be put by all stakeholders. Registration of voters, 30 days. Look at that. That's bad. You know, and this is what leads to the president being bullied. You cannot bully people all the time. No. So if the system is put fairness, one, we look at also, I've talked about the police being fair, ECZ, the people that run elections should be chosen by all stakeholders. Civil society come in, and then there will be fairness. You cannot play football, you are choosing, you are a player also inside, you have a team, you are the same person choosing the referee. That's not acceptable.
Do you think this will be possible with the time that we are left with next year's election? It's only exactly a year and a month away. Do you think this is achievable within the time frame that has been given as the election is coming next year?
I'll answer that question. You as a journalist, you have seen what has happened. We are not allowed to have public rallies. The PF are going hide even when there is COVID-19. We have had studios in Luapula, Northern Province, when HH was talking to them on phone, being attacked. What do you call that? PF cadres coming like here, cool, in the studio. Manhandling. Just listen, somebody airing his views. In Pika, that happened. And who is violent there? And what did we get from ZNBC, from a radio station, from everywhere? Nothing. We got nothing.
We did cover.
You covered, yes.
We interviewed.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. But that is PF being violent. Did you see our cadres beating those people? No. It was the PF that went into profit. And they have done that one time. HH in Copperbelt had to come through the roof. And who wanted to attack him? The PF who attacked him? The PF cadres. And that's not violence. In Monze, people did not throw a single stone. They simply expressed their displeasure at somebody, and at somebody who is not doing his job properly. And then you come now, you have a president who said, I'm disappointed by Tongas. Who said the people who are in Monza are all Tongas?
Honorable, do you think that it's possible, with the time frame that we have before next year's elections, for us to achieve an election that will not have political violence? Do you think this is possible with the 1 year, 1 month, the 13 months that we have left to next year's election, to have an election that will not have violence?
If the President Lungu was interested, it would be possible. But he's not.
So it's not possible.
Yes, they're not interested. They survive through violence. We know them. That's their DNA. That's their DNA. If the President of the country wants to have a free and fair election, it will happen. It will happen. It will happen. But the PF are made of violence. That's their DNA.
Don't you think
does it also take the people for it's not just the president but also the people to ensure that a free and fair election is executed?
If people fail at a school, who do you blame? The one who was teaching grade 7 is a teacher. He's a headmaster. If there is violence in the country, the onus is on the president. It's on the president. It's on the president. If the economy collapses in the country, it's the president.
Don't you think, Honorable, that the onus
if there's
is
no
also
employment in the country, it's the president.
Don't you think the onus is also on to you to encourage peace within the country, to encourage, because you have access to each and every one of the citizens, and I think it is not only members of the United Party for National Development that you speak to, it's not only members of the United Party for National Development that you lobby votes from. If anything, you are seeking votes from those that are not members of the United Party for National Development, because those are the ones that you want to get to be on your side. Isn't that what politics is all about? Trying to convince the larger numbers? Can I finish my question?
Yes.
Based on that fact, don't you think it is also an important responsibility that you, as a leader, as a member of parliament, as a political party, should take on to encourage peaceful campaigns, to encourage violence-free elections, to encourage citizens to take individual responsibility, to avoid violence in a period that is leading up to an election, before you look at whoever is responsible for ending it, because the direct person that you speak with is the citizen.
We do that. I had a by-election. People are sent from Lusaka to carry me in the boot. I was at a TV station, at a radio station in Choma on a Saturday. The police came, surrounded the studio. I was almost picked. I had to run away. My campaign manager was supposed to be arrested. 2 days he had to run into the bush. Dr. Imakando, a doctor, member of parliament, was put in the cells when he had a by-election. That could have happened to me. All that is okay. We allowed them in Nachikungu to campaign freely. They were there, they campaigned, but look at what was happening. I was supposed to be picked. I had 2 days to sleep in the bush, and then I went to Chomaman studio. Just when I was there, I saw them coming. Unfortunately, they didn't know me. I just slipped off, and I was followed. My council chairman was phoned that your MP has been arrested. The mayor for Choma had to go to the police looking for me, but I sneaked out. And that's what we face on daily basis. Gary Nkombo, when there was a by-election in Livingstone, he was put for 90 days, accused of murder, which he didn't do. We were being slapped in Livingstone when there was a by-election. By who? By the PF. All those cases, HH was equally arrested in Livingstone. How many times has HH been arrested? Over 15 times. Who has he beaten? Nothing. We are the victims of the violence, and it pains us. And then now you want us. We have been talking peaceful elections. We have been telling the PF what's supposed to be done. The PF are proud of being violent. Their DNA is made of violence. People have died because of elections. Every election now that is there, people are dying. You see, where the government is, if the government has got the muscle. That's why I've said, if the president of the country wants the election to be free and fair, there will be. But PF is very sure they are losing the election. They are very sure. And they said, no, listen, let me finish. PF are very sure they are losing the 2021 election. And this is why now they are trying to start rigging now. Through NRC taking, through voter registration, through now having the prisoners to vote. We have the inside information. You can't know as a private citizen how many prisoners are there. Only the PF will know. How can you have people you can't campaign to coming to vote? A prisoner is not allowed to move. Why now? All these are rigging schemes. They don't want us to go and see where the ballot papers will be made from. If you go privately, they use another plane. Do you see what is happening? Do you know which hotel they are going to sleep? That hasn't been the culture. The culture has been when ballot papers are being made. All the stakeholders are there to see. They escort, like what they did in Malawi. In Malawi, it was the citizens. In Malawi, the citizens fought, and the army was on the side of the people. They made sure they escorted the ballot papers. They were the major stakeholders. That's how they managed to remove Mutharika. And here now, here we are. All these things that are being done are meant to make sure that the elections are rigged. And that's the whole purpose of Bill 10. That's the whole purpose of Bill 10. To make sure that the elections are rigged.
Finally, as we get to conclude our conversation, so then it's not possible to bring yourselves as the United Party for National Development, the Patriotic Front, because mainly it's been the two political parties that have been involved in this violence. Do you then not see the need for these two political parties to be brought together to chart the way forward and end this political violence? Because according to your analysis, based on the issues you've raised, it's not possible for next year's elections to be without this violence.
It is the president not willing. And that's the way he survives. He gains by being violent. PF gains by being violent. They gain. That's the way they play their game. When they see they're about to lose, they bring in violence. That's what they do. So that has been their DNA, and I'm surprised that it's only many people are not seeing that. That has been their tactic. They use violence.
So are you concerned about 2021?
Pardon?
Are you concerned about political violence coming
Why not?
2021?
Why not? Why not? Who would love violence? Who would love violence? I have had my president spending 127 in filth places. You living criminals, you take him to Chimbokaila, a maximum prison. And you think that will leave me happy? How many of our UPND people are in court for nothing, for doing nothing? People are being gassed, who are being arrested. Innocent people. I have 4 people in Kalomo. Innocent people who were put in the cell. Those who are gassing are let free. And all those don't matter. All those don't matter. And what was the whole purpose of gassing? Why up to now we don't have the people who were gassing being arrested? Huh? Those who were involved, where is the spokesperson who tried to review? So you see, these are some of the issues. For you to actually stop violence, you must get to the head of it. We should all be brave enough as Zambians, we only have one country, to say the truth. Not being biased, no. We should call a spade a spade. If the president of the country does not want violence, it won't be there. So the violent people are the PF, and we all know it. We have been victims. I would have been hacked at Westwood Police Station. 2 buses, 2 Rosa buses, coming with pangas. I was saved by one match. Say, you are being under attack. I had to run like a rat. And you think I'm happy to experience that? And when I was in Achukungu, cadres were sent. I was being told, they have come, they are here now to pick you. You know? And what was the case? I was being accused of something I didn't do. The next day when they failed to arrest me, they go now and want to arrest the campaign manager. How about Dr. Imakan, who was put in the cells?
Thank you so much for coming through tonight, Honorable. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you very much.
All right. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking empowerment with regards to youth. There's been a lot of talk about that. Just last night, it was one of the discussions that was being held on the special edition of Costa that was on your screens at the time. But we'd like to explore it further because we'd like to talk to the actual people that are supposed to benefit from it, and if the general belief is that this is possible. And those that do believe that this is possible, how can it be done?
From inside his own half has scored. Staggering! Just staggering! Drama from day one. Messi tries a shot. Leo Messi celebrates that. This is the league we want to watch. Where does football go from here?
Live sport is coming back. Reconnect to DSTV and get an upgrade on us.
Now is the time. Make the clever choice. Empower yourself. The best of all options. University of Africa, an associate private university with Keystone Education, offering a wide range of qualifications. diplomas, bachelor degrees, and master degrees, all duly registered and accredited by the Higher Education Authority. We offer a wide selection of qualifications: business and commerce, development studies, biosciences, public administration, education for early childhood, primary and secondary, social work and development studies. Call us now on +260 211 230 812.
This could be you. Or this could be you. Even though there are hundreds of road accidents every day, we have driven you with confidence, ensuring you reach your destination safely. From motor to home and property insurance, take up a Madison General Insurance policy today and secure your tomorrow. Madison General Insurance, safeguarding and giving you peace of mind since 1992. MGen, it's worth it.
Welcome back to Diamond Live. Thank you for joining us on the show. You can call in on the numbers that are on your TV screen. You can also send an SMS to the numbers that are on your TV screen and participate in the conversations we're having. But empowering the youth equitably is one of the things we're talking about tonight. And we're joined by Chendela Mukondo, who is coming in to talk about this and the different opportunities that lie within the country. But also because it's been a huge matter of debate at the moment, the debate around empowering young people in the country and the cause for young people to equitably be empowered by the Patriotic Front government. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
And good evening, our viewers.
Absolutely. Let's start off with the question on whether or not you think that there is enough opportunity that has been presented by government to allow young people to have access to reasonable empowerment opportunities.
As the situation stands today, the Patriot Front, you know, our background is that we are a youth-driven government from inception. And the other thing is that we believe that the voices of our people should always be followed. And from 2011, immediately when we were ushered into power, we went on making this country to be developed through infrastructure development. And that itself, we have created an enormous opportunity for our youths through these projects that we have been constructing around the nation. Among them, I can just give you the 750 megawatt Kafueloa, where we have more than 5,000 youths who have been given that opportunity to participate in the eco-development of this nation. And then not only that, we have also deliberately included and brought everybody on board, because our 7th National Development Plan says we shouldn't leave anyone behind. And if you look in our Chapter 4, we are mandated to provide that conducive environment, the opportunities, so that our youth can come on board and participate. So that's our history as a Patriot Front. We promise people that we are going to create that enabling environment. And through these projects which are scattered along the nation, it's creating that environment for those youths who would want to participate in.
No.
But anyway, that is on the job-oriented jobs. But there is also the entrepreneur type of job, and that's what we are looking at now.
Do you think then the system has been impressive lately in terms of how it empowers young people? Because you are talking of all these projects, but many young people still feel left out. They don't feel part of them. They don't even see these projects that you speak of.
And on top of what Malama says, a lot of the things that you've mentioned are a source of concern for a lot of young people, for a lot of citizens, because they feel they are not exactly sustainable. These are not opportunities that are going to sustain these people and their livelihoods if they're going to work in a construction company that is making a road for a period of one year, 6 months, or 2 years. And what happens after that?
Look, there are good classic examples like the Ministry of Health, where we have posts that you have engaged, nurses and doctors, over 22,000 in a number. And these are some of the jobs, quality jobs, that one would indicate or would say that these are really jobs that we have been doing. Why? We have been providing space, bed space for our people, not only bed space, but they are expanding on their hospitals. Not only there, we have also gone further to make sure that the civil service itself, which is the engine of the economy, it's expanded, even on the security wings. If you find that we have been posting good numbers, Kamfinsa, you hear 2,000 they have graduated, 900 they have graduated. If you put the numbers together, you find that we have even acclimated as good as 13,000 youths. So basically, there are a lot of...
Compared to the huge population of this country of young people, do you really think that's a good number?
Yes, it's a good number, because if you look previously, there was not anything that we were posting positive, especially just close to 14 years ago when Mwanawasa was there. We were selling even our mines as little as 20 million. But today, we have pushed the agenda forward. And we have seen that these are positive growth. These are positive gains that we have started recording. So basically, there are other important things that we should also take into consideration when it comes to these. Some of them, like, I'll give you an example for just a stretch of road here, before Katuba there. You will find that there are new shops which have come up. More than 1,000 shops which have come up, and our youths, they are working in these shops. So basically, we have been providing that enabling environment. So when you talk about the massive numbers, we also have to bring in the private partnership. So basically, when you're looking at the huge number, we cannot all get employed into the civil service, but we have also other stakeholders, like the private, that has come in. So basically, we are very comfortable. So far, so good. These big projects that we have embarked in as a country, as a nation, they have really provided that gist.
But then
to
how
sit with.
sustainable are they if especially for the you know, on the government front, on the civil front, if these jobs expire, if you're looking at a 2-year contract, how really then sustainable are these? How then, or what next for the youth? Because that's always the biggest question.
And the thousands of other young people that are equally qualified, that are unemployed, like teachers, for example, they're in their thousands.
Yes, they're in the thousands. And for instance, I would want to bring on board like the deliberate policy which the president came up with, this presidential initiative that he did as way back in 2017. That one's deliberately looking at how to empower our youths, especially those who are already involved into these markets and these bus stations, so that they are given further at least skills and also some little empowerment, like incubators, like solar panels, such activities. So we are not just sitting idle, but we have been giving good initiative to our people. The other one, which I think, which we can say it is COVID-driven, like these youths who are complaining, where you find now 6 million have been made available, and we are telling them where to find these new opportunities, like in the aquaculture. You will find that we are targeting around 160 youths. And if you look at where 160 youths are, it's a huge number. And we're talking about entrepreneur youths. It's like getting 2 stadiums full to capacity. So basically, that's what we are trying to create. So there are a lot of activities that the president and the cabinet are lining up. So basically, as a Patriot Fund, we are very comfortable that we are providing so much needed jobs, and these jobs are quality jobs. And then also when you talk about the same contracts, I think when we got into power, we talked about that ending of casualization, and I think we have done justice to that, and we have seen a lot of these private institutions now. They are giving our people the so much needed better conditions.
But that's not the impression that a lot of young people have. I think I think a lot of young people, I think you followed the conversation recently. The conversation has seen a lot of young people not happy with the opportunities that are being presented to them by government. And I guess what matters is what they think, because if the young people feel they're not being empowered, then who exactly is being empowered?
Look, we have a huge challenge, especially when it comes to fake news and misinformation. That is coming from the social media world. But normally, it's also the quality of opposition that we have.
Just before we finish your thought, we've got Nicole, who's calling in from Eastern Province. Hi, good evening.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you for joining us on Diamond Live. Give us your thoughts.
Yes, this is Nico from Eastern Province, and I want to contribute based on the Youth Empowerment Program, which you people are discussing there. I think I'm going to say that what I'm going to say is I'm a youth, and I've seen that this government has not done much concerning the youth. If these people really cared about the youth, they couldn't have started panicking now by trying to bring in all sorts of things to make sure that the youths are covered, because they have become desperate at the last minute. They had almost good, they had a lot of years to do the right thing, but what have they done? They have not done the right thing. They have just come to panic at the end of the day when the youth revolution started. So we are expecting PF to do the right thing. We're expecting PF to support these guys, because look at it. Finding a job in this government is very tough unless you know a relative. Now, what about those who don't have relatives? How do we survive? I've seen it with my naked eyes, whereby you find that it's very difficult if you have to get a job. Remember the Dubai issue. The Dubai issue is the same thing. No one, some of the jobs we don't even see the advertisement. The only thing you come to hear, they have already, other people have been employed and they're advertising just for marriage sake. Why should it be like that? We do not want this government to neglect the youth, because at the end of the day, you know, there are some youths who have been supportive to this government, but at the end of the day, it's not every youth that will benefit from the little cake that is being shared among some of the people that support the PF or they don't support the people. You know, getting a job does not mean I have to know someone. If business-wise, these people have to support the youth, not by downloading a picture they post on the presidential Facebook page saying, no, we are doing agriculture or whatever program they are doing, just to make sure that they show youths are being assisted. In which way? The 30 million that came in was just for who? The 30 million that came in was just for musicians, not about other youth. This is not the way this government has to run the issues to do with the youth. You remember the Minister of
Nico, thank you so much.
To explain things, even simple things when he was being interviewed.
All right.
But in what we are just asking the government is let them not neglect the youth, because if the youth rise up, it's very difficult to stop them.
All right.
That's one thing I can only advise. That's in Mara, what
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nico. So we can give opportunities to other callers as well. But I really don't think they're able to get us. I really don't think there's got to be a technical
Maybe he was just
fault.
so passionate about what he was talking about.
But just before he came in, this is exactly what we were saying. A lot of the young people don't have the impression that they are being given these opportunities. So and this is not social media. This was a real caller who's calling on the show. So they're not hiding behind a mask through social media propaganda. They're expressing how they feel. So if a lot of young people feel they're not being empowered, then who is getting this empowerment that you speak of?
Basically, Zambians are getting the empowerment itself. But as I was saying, there is also a problem of misinformation. And deliberately, there are others who want to hijack the bandwagon to say that the people are not getting empowered. But you mentioned another important component which this government has started, that one of the artists themselves, where they have been given a 30 million. So basically, this is just a start, because as patriotic to ourselves, we have really believed that we had this challenge that we had to do, that was infrastructure development. And it's upon this infrastructure development that the future jobs will be further be created. So basically, as a patriotic front, where we stand today, we understand that the population has increased. We are now 18 million, and the youth component of it is about 6 million, which is a huge number. But as the president has been saying, it's very important that our youth participate, get to this formal source of information, like our ministries, because it is in these ministries that we have a lot of information which is lying idle, and it's there to empower people.
But you
like
think, I don't think the people need. I don't think the people. I don't. Story and say they've been empowered.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just to add on, because now it looks like, who are these people that are being empowered? If you've got more people saying, look, we are here, we are not seeing this empowerment. So who then are these people that you've empowered?
Well, there are a lot of people who have been empowered. I think there is, just as you have rightly said, that general perception of
and I think also,
no one is being empowered.
As you respond to that question, just Nicole, the caller that just called, he says he also does believe that there is people that are being empowered, but those are members of the Patriotic Front.
No. That is a wrong perception. In fact, a lot of people who are disgruntled, those who are asking, who are these people have been empowered?
It correlates with what he's saying. Otherwise, it's quite, being a big man is quite embarrassing to get all those false answers.
Thank you so much, Jonga, for calling in. Also, just before Malama comes in, as we get towards the conclusion of our conversation, the government has made quite some huge promises. And I think I remember from as far back as 2016, where hundreds of thousands of jobs were promised by the Patriotic for President Edgar Lungu himself at the Mulungushi International Conference Center. I remember very well, made a pledge towards young people to create over 300,000 jobs for young people in this country. But here we are talking about 3,000 jobs, 5,000 jobs, 20,000 jobs being created. But that's such a huge shortfall compared to the expectation. And don't you think this then is where a lot of these people are coming from? If the projection was this huge number of people, which was not the majority of the young people, still that huge number has not been achieved, has not gone halfway. Don't you think this is now the rest of the people that are concerned and haven't received this empowerment?
You know, my brother, if you look at job creation itself, it moves in tandem with energy. Energy and then also digitalization has a huge effect on the way we handle the economy. But if you look at this period that we have been in, we have faced challenge after challenge. And this is mainly the energy deficit that we have been facing. It has reduced the economy to such that we used to think of the GDP moving at 6%. Like my brother, the one who said we are not being specific. Some of the specifics which I'm talking about, that like now, last week, 6 days ago, we are saying we are targeting about 160 youths to make themselves available, Zambians, so that we empower them with this 6 million which is available. So basically, for all those who are enterprising, let them come forth so that we can empower them. And then not only that, we are also targeting about 40 farm orders so that we can empower them. So basically, when you talk about empowerment, it's quite a very tricky situation we are in, because of also why the youths are they complaining. It's because of what we have now, the COVID. COVID has also come in with its negative impact. So basically,
a few months ago, though.
Yes, but the energy
deficit.
But you agree with me that where we are coming from 2017, 2018, we have had the dry spells, we had the energy challenge itself because of the water bodies that have been drying up. So these are some of the things which have hit us very bad. And then the other thing also, when you talk about the trade wars with China, it has also some global effects also, which are not also settling well with the Zambian people. We are not seeing... Yes. We are not seeing a lot of money coming in from China.
Well,
the way we used to say.
In conclusion.
Yeah, well, then in conclusion, I want to know then from you, how can youth then themselves create opportunities, or their own opportunities, evidently, in these unfavorable circumstances in Zambia, given also just the poor economic environment that we are in?
It calls for resilience, and it is in such a hard time like this that billionaires, those who have brilliant ideas, they can come out. Already money has been made available, especially some of the opportunities that we have made is that we have shown the youths where they can make this initiative work, and that is in their couch. And money which the government has brought forth, they take at least an opportunity of it, so that at the end of the day, tomorrow, you will say that we managed to pull out when everybody was complaining, when we were surrounded in a COVID environment, as we made it. Because even when you see, I take you back to 1991, and between 1991 and 1997, others, when we were wallowing in poverty, others made money out of it, out of that.
But the majority
this time around,
citizens should come out, and that's
you know the advantage with this time.
The government posts
last time the government never even empowered anybody, but this time around we have made the money available.
Is it out of panic?
No, it's not out of panic. It's not out of panic, because I even talked about the presidential initiative where we have been deliberately empowering our marketeers, and then also the barbermen. So that at the end of the day, their businesses, they keep on going.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on tonight's edition of Diamond Live.
Thank you very much. I'm on board.
And thank you for tuning in. Time is up. It's been a very interesting evening. Thank you for watching tonight's edition of Diamond Live. We're going to be back tomorrow, Friday, as we continue engaging the subject of political violence. We did extend an invitation for Patriotic Front to discuss political violence. Unfortunately, none of them was able to make it on tonight's edition, but hopefully this conversation can continue on, as the belief generally should be, it should be collective responsibility to bring an end to political violence. So hope you will join us tomorrow on tomorrow's edition of Diamond Live. My name is Jonah.
My name is Malama.
And from our guest, Chandela Mkondo, have a good night.